Sleeping on the floor is not very comfy. It's time for a bed. Is not very comfy. It's time for a bed. Is not very comfy. It's time for is not very comfy. Dylan has designed our van in SolidWorks, and this is an image of the bed, or a basic image of the bed. We've decided to do a bed that slides out to optimize both the space underneath and the living space. So we get that back garage space, but then we get these two bench areas, and then the bed pulls out to cover the bench areas when we don't need to use it, and becomes our full bed.
So we're gonna build our bed frame. What we did here was kind of draw out the different pieces of wood that we need with the different measurements. I know it's a pretty rough cut, pretty rough drawing, but there's a couple pieces we still need to cut. Most of them are cut, and then we're gonna use this to assemble.
We're currently trying to build our bed frame, and we put our back pull in, and notice how it's cut on the top. That's because a board is going to sit on top of it across. So we've attached the horizontal back piece to these side pieces that we had cut out. And now the first piece of our bed frame is in, and it's pretty sturdy. Here we have a pocket screw hole jig. So in order to attach furniture or cabinetry to each other, you're gonna wanna make a pocket screw. So basically the drill is gonna go down into here and like pocket the screw, which makes it stronger and it holds it better. You're going to use the special bit that comes with the pocket screw kit, and you're going to go all the way to the end. Now we've got our two pieces of wood clamped together, and we have our nice little pockets, and we're going to take a 2.5-inch screw and screw it all the way in to connect to the other piece of wood.
2.5-inch screw is recommended by, and all of these distances for measuring are recommended by the company that makes those.
Yeah, you have to be very exact on your measurements. Nice. And now one side of the bed frame is done. And you can see our bed framing structure. It's a little different on either side based on the cabinetry that we want on one side versus the other. These slats are gonna go on the bed, and they're gonna slide in and slide out. So half of them will be on this half of the bed, and then the other half will be on the other half, and they'll like slide in between each other with a little bit of space. So we have measured these slats for the bed out so that they line up and are straight across, and my brother's fiance is helping me out, and we are basically, the idea is that half of these slats are going to stay connected to these two frames, and then the other slats we're going to take out. So I drew some lines to take them out, and those are going to be connected to the other side of the bed, so they're going to slide in, and the others are going to stay on this frame, and it's going to work out perfectly. The bed slats are in, and so once we do the other part of the bed frame, then we're going to put the other slats in, and they're going to slide in between the two slats. It's time to do the other half of the bed, so I've started marking these slats that I'm going to countersink and then put in to make the second half. So I'm using this countersink drill bit to countersink the slats so that the screws can go down into them and won't stick up. We have a 2x2 that we're going to screw in on the outside side of the bed, like the side facing the door. And I've taped it here to hold it because it's just me currently working on it. So I'm holding it in place with some painter's tape. Luckily, we've already measured where all the slats go. So each one is going to be going where the lines are, and there's lines on both sides. And then I'm just going to line it up and screw it in, and it screws into the 2x2 on this side. And then on the other side, we're going to have another board on the outside that will pull it out. So on this side, the board's going to go on the outside, and the slats that stay in place are screwed into this first board, but the other slats that move out are going to be screwed into the board that moves out. The first few slats that go into these ones are in, and the board is staying up nice and straight, so I don't really have to hold it anymore. And it's looking good. I'm gonna test it once more. When I tried to pull out the bed, it didn't work, so we had to use a hammer. It's too tight. So now what we're gonna try and do is add little pieces of plywood to the slides that move, like under where they're screwed, because that will give more room in between this piece of wood and the ones that are permanent, and so will help it slide easier.
I think you're right though.
I think if you put this in between these on both sides,
yeah,
it won't actually raise this, it'll just lower these.
We put in those pieces of wood all along here, and then we chiseled a few areas where it was catching. And now, it pulls out and we have our bed. We've made a railing so that the bed doesn't fall down when we pull it out. Basically, this is our support, this piece of wood right here. It's being supported on both sides by things like this with the cutout. And then this slides along it and doesn't fall down. Our bed is done. She is beautiful. We are going to put handles on her eventually. I'm calling her her. But for now, the bed goes all the way out. Here's our little bench seats that go under our bed. And here's the bed. Go ahead and take it out, Dill. Beautiful. Can't wait to sleep on her. Can't wait to sleep on her. Can't wait to sleep on her.
You should definitely make a blooper reel.
All right, well, we fixed it with the
You should start over.
All right, so we've put in some we can pull it all the way out. Okay, I'm gonna need to redo that. Okay, I gotta do it again.
Yeah, you did.
If you enjoyed following along with our van build and our build of our bed, don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along with all of our adventures.